Welcome to the Illinois Landscape Contractors Association Board and Committee Training Program. The purpose of today's committee training program is to improve our infrastructure and our industry one committee at a time. This training program is broken into 5 sections. The first will discuss its introduction and purpose. The second, the various position descriptions that guide the training program. The third, some committee management. The fourth section will be our rules of meeting management. And finally, we will end with a brief conclusion. The purpose of the overall committee training program is to add consistency among almost the 24 committees that fall under the ILCA umbrella. Our hope is to provide structure that will maximize committee efficiency and avoid committee member burnout. It will help to improve delegation of tasks and lead to greater accountability. And finally, it will ensure follow-through and action in between our committee meetings. First, we'll discuss our committee position description. This will be the definitive guide to who is doing what and who is who. As with any organization, in order to understand what you're supposed to be doing, you first have to understand your job description. Therefore, position descriptions were created for the following positions that fall across every single one of our committees. Those are the chair, the associate chair, a committee member, the board liaison, and the staff liaison. We have developed a companion guide with the complete descriptions for each one of these positions, and we will ask that you refer to those position descriptions offline. These position descriptions help identify the major objectives for each position, the accountabilities and tasks, the etiquette that one should use when approaching the various positions, the term limits for the chair, the associate chair, and other roles, the key roles and responsibilities, and also the key differences between the roles. For example, what is the difference between a chair and the associate chair, or the staff and the board liaison? We are not going to go into every single one of these position descriptions in this training program, but we ask that all committee members review the position descriptions that both impact them and other members of the committee on their own time. We now get into some tips on committee management. These are the overarching concepts of managing committees and also try to explain why we are here. The first thing one must do is to understand the goal and purpose of every committee. All committees are found on the ILCA organizational chart unless that committee is brand new to the organization. Each committee within the ILCA has a broad stated objective. For example, you see the Turf Committee's stated objective below. The stated objective should be listed at the top of each agenda that will guide each committee meeting, and the objective provides guardrails for each committee's activities. Friction often occurs when committees step outside their objective, especially when it impacts another committee. Further, committees can get very lost when they step outside their objective and start to do things that are not within their scope. Here you see the ILCA organizational chart. There's clearly a lot going on, and they fall within various branches. All of our committees are found on this organizational chart, and you see if you tug one part of the web, other parts of the web can feel it. All committees serve at the pleasure of the ILCA Board of Directors. ILCA uses a very bottom-up organizational approach. This is different from a top-down organizational approach where the board tries to do everything within an organization and simply delegates menial tasks to the committees. The ILCA chooses to go in an opposite direction, where our committees have strong autonomy and flexibility. The Board of Directors charts the strategic direction for the organization, but it's up to our various committees and the individuals who serve on those committees to get us there. All of our committees will report to the Board of Directors. no committee serves outside of the board's purview, and therefore to create a stronger relationship between the board and our committees, all committees are assigned a board liaison. If you have questions about the specific duties and responsibilities of the board liaison, that job description can be found within the companion guide. Successful committees will do the following. First, committees will onboard new members by having them attend 1 or 2 meetings before committing to the overall committee. This is a great opportunity for a committee member who may be on the fence to see what exactly the committee does and how they choose to operate before committing for a long term. Second, they delegate tasks to all committee members versus to just a select few. It's important that committee chairs and associate chairs, and even committee members themselves, are cognizant of 1 or 2 individuals on the committee absorbing all of the work and responsibilities. Third, they'll establish clear tactics between meetings. Fourth, they'll establish clear guidance and expectations during the meetings. Fifth, they'll give and receive positive encouragement. Everyone likes to feel valued. Next, they'll create an environment for committee members to be collaborative and interactive. Just as with any other organization, committees like to feel like they can offer their ideas without judgment. Seventh, they'll show appreciation and respect for all the individuals who are volunteering their time. And lastly, our committees will attempt to have fun. One of the most important things that a committee member must understand is the ILCA budget cycle. Almost all of our committees, whether related to an event or not, will fall within the greater ILCA budget. ILCA's fiscal year is from July 1st to June 30th. If you are running an event or series of initiatives, the best time to note any budgetary changes will be immediately after an event has concluded. So at that first meeting after your event or revenue producing activity, write down what those budgetary changes should be so that you do not forget them. The best time, however, to propose budgetary changes are when all of the budgets are being constructed in March, April, and May. And then the board will approve the next fiscal year budget every June. All ILCA individual committee budgets fit into the larger budget, and no committee keeps any financial surplus from their event or activity, and that surplus from one year will not carry over to the next. The board will review and approve all budgets in May and June, and there is a strong hesitancy by the board to update the budget after it has been accepted. So all committees should understand their budget expectations upon approval in June, and it's very unlikely that you will be able to return back to the board and request budgetary changes once the budget has been locked. Committee leadership, meaning your chair and associate chair, will evaluate committee members in a number of different ways. The first is general committee meeting attendance. The ILCA sets a metric that participation in 75% of our meetings is considered favorable. Participation in half to 75% is considered acceptable. And if a committee member is missing more than half of the assigned meetings, we consider that as underperforming. In addition, the associate chair and the chair will make sure that the committee member is completing any assigned action items, and that committee member is not showing up to meeting after meeting with no work being done on the work that has been assigned. Also, they'll evaluate and look for any behavior that might be disruptive to the operations of the committee. And this can include a wide range of behavior, meaning you're bringing personal agendas into the committee room, you're dominating all of the committee's time, you're not participating or contributing at all, and other ways in which behavior might be sidetracking the long-term goals of the committee. When any of these things occur, The associate chair will reach out and try to correct any attendance or participation issues so that you can become an active and participating member of the committee once again. If there comes a time when you need to step down from your committee or separate yourself from committee service, we ask that you do it with a level of respect. ILCA respects that any service on any committee is not your day job. You have other professional and personal responsibilities that will take priority. But there are steps to stepping down without hurting the overall effectiveness of the committee. Please don't simply stop coming to meetings. That is the worst case scenario. If you find yourself starting to slip in your participation, don't just simply stop coming to any and all meetings, because what will happen is that you'll stay on the roster and on the listserv, and the chair and the associate chair and other committee members will expect that you will resume your responsibilities at some point. Instead, it's better to notify the chair, the associate chair, and the staff liaison with ample lead time. You'll notice that most committees have a logical annual cycle. Most committees will either slow down right before the beginning of the busy season, or they'll slow down immediately after their ILCA event has concluded. If possible, we ask that you remain on the committee until that time frame is up. This avoids the chair or the associate chair having to scramble to find your replacement leading up to an event or a deliverable. Whenever possible, it's great when you can recommend a replacement. This could be a coworker or a colleague, or perhaps even your replacement if you're leaving companies. Realize that the door is always open to returning. If you have to step away because of enhanced personal or professional responsibilities, understand that a couple years later, you are free to rejoin the committee or to join another committee if the chair and associate chair approve. Finally, the termination of your employment at an ILCA member firm does not require you to step down. If you're in between jobs, the relationships formed on the committee level can be very, very valuable. The only exception is if you leave an ILCA member firm and join a non-ILCA member firm. At that point, the firm must either join the ILCA or you will have to step down from service on the committee.
We will now transition to rules of meeting management. How effective meeting management is your committee's key to success. Properly run ILCA committee meetings will maximize that committee's effectiveness. They will help to build camaraderie, establish accountability, avoid burnout, and accomplish identified goals. The three parts of meeting management are the pre-meeting. This is the meeting prep that must occur in order to have a successful meeting. The actual meeting, which is the day of process that will maximize the committee's effectiveness. And finally, the post-meeting, the wrap-up that should occur to continue momentum and to clarify expectations. Within the pre-meeting, you'll find the agenda. A meeting reminder will be sent 2 weeks prior to the meeting date. The committees use a listserv to communicate all agendas and other documentation. If you are not receiving those emails, please reach out to your staff liaison or even check with your IT person at your office to make sure that they're not being filtered or blocked. The agenda will be distributed within 3 to 7 days of the meeting date, along with the most recent set of minutes. Time allotments are set for each agenda item in minutes. Example, iLandscape workshop discussion, 10 minutes. How to handle RSVPs and last-minute cancellations. Small meetings can still be effective. We do prefer 75% to 100% of participation from a committee. However, 40 to 75% is also considered acceptable. Less than 40% participation could cause the cancellation or rescheduling of a meeting. Please remember, last-minute cancellations are a common problem and annoyance for other committee members who have scheduled their time appropriately. Once the agenda has been set, the meeting will occur. The time for cancellation is prior to the agenda being distributed. The committee members should notify the staff if they cannot attend prior to the agenda being distributed. And remember, day of cancellations are extremely discouraged. Selecting a meeting format. There are many meeting format possibilities. It will be at the discretion of the chair and the associate chair to determine the appropriate format for your committee. A sample of some of those format options are face-to-face meetings at the ILCA headquarters, a conference call, a combination of face-to-face meeting with a conference call, the go-to meeting in a webinar format, an off-site meeting at another location or perhaps social gathering, and/or a strategic planning meeting. Those may be one all-day meeting or a multi-day meeting. A recap of the action items prior. Chair and staff will review the minutes to determine outstanding action items. Committee members are expected to report on action items at the upcoming meeting. Reminders about action items may come from the associate chair or staff liaison, again, utilizing the listserv. Reminders can be done personally or via the listserv. At the meeting, please be considerate. This is not an opportunity to air or vent personal grievances about the organization or a member of the organization. All committee members serve a greater good. We're all in this together. The tone should be fun and breezy, but productive. This should not feel like an emotionless work meeting. Distractions. Cell phones should be turned over and tone set to silent or vibrate. Please limit texting and social media. ILCA respects members have businesses to run, but members should also be mindful of the rest of the group. If you must take a call or make a text, please excuse yourself from the meeting to do so. Another important item, be on time and be prepared. Meetings should start on time. Understanding pleasantries will be exchanged at the onset. Late arrivals stifle progress due to a tendency to summarize. All committee members should arrive early or on time. Notify your staff liaison if you will be late. At least have reviewed the agenda, past minutes, and supporting documents, and be prepared to speak on your action items and be fully engaged in the meeting. Again, remember, stick to the agenda. Time allotments will be added to each agenda item. Staff or a chosen committee member will be keeping time using an audible alarm clock feature. Start and end your meetings on time. Some other items to consider with your agenda. When an idea is not on the agenda and it pops up, find a way to catalog it. Utilizing a parking lot on the whiteboard where you can put your new ideas so they don't derail the current discussion. New business, the spot-on agenda for new ideas and discussion topics. Loose parliamentary procedure will be followed. At a minimum, call to order, approve minutes, and adjourn. Formal motions are usually not required for most committee business and updates. How to make a motion. The chair or associate chair can make a motion, but it is preferred that they do not. They may state a motion, but another member should say, "So moved." A motion for official business takes 5 steps. Number 1, a member of the committee says, "I move," or make a motion to. Step 2, the motion must be seconded by another member of the committee. Step 3, the chair will open discussion, allowing all to discuss the motion's merits. Step 4, the chair will close discussion and take a vote. And finally, step 5, Members may vote yea or nay with a simple majority dictating passage. Please remember, stay on topic. The chair and associate chair will watch for tangents and side conversations. Discussions should be productive and revolve around the agenda item at hand. New business is the place to discuss new ideas unrelated to the stated agenda. Avoid leapfrogging agenda items because they come up. This is natural, but all will be discussed in due time. Leapfrogging should only occur if decided by the chair with consensus from the committee. Also, avoid mission creep. New ideas are positive, but can sidetrack a committee. All ideas are good ideas, but committees have limited time, resources, and bandwidth. Less is definitely more. Be wary of surveys or wanting every decision to be vetted by the membership. Be decisive. Committees are designed to be a proxy and should not require board oversight or member feedback. And the dreaded all talk and no action, otherwise known as wheel spinning. Discussion without action is a waste of time. Every committee has great ideas. The key is executing those ideas in a timely fashion. Be mindful for how many times the committee is scheduled to meet that year before adding any new goals. Morale is improved when a committee fully accomplishes a handful of goals versus partially executing a large number of them. It is important that committee decisions are made collectively after hearing from all members who have an opinion. Don't relitigate a settled discussion. Don't rehash a settled discussion simply because some members were not present. Minutes should cover the thought process and deliberation behind the decision made. Extenuating circumstances do exist if the person who missed that discussion has vital information that should have been considered at the time of discussion. Please provide a summary of the action items. Prior to adjournment, the chair will articulate the items and assignments. Make sure all items are assigned to committee members. The chair should not be leaving the meeting with the most to do. Chairs will also provide clear deadlines. Some examples are by next meeting, in the next week, as soon as possible, etc. Minutes. Minutes should be sent by your staff liaison 7 to 10 days after a meeting. Minutes should be short and to the point. Minutes should clearly spell out action items and recap pivotal discussions. Please take time to review them. Minutes from the previous meeting should be sent with the agenda or a list of open action items. Minutes are not a transcript of a meeting. They are a summary of discussions and intended action. The use of the email listserv. Listservs are unique, private email addresses that include all committee members, your board liaison, your staff liaison, and the executive director. A message posted to the committee@ilca.net address will send a copy to everyone on your listserv. There is no need to reply all if the individuals are included on the listserv. That avoids duplicate emails with the same content. Listservs are vital to maintaining progress between the meetings. Some other important notes about the listservs. Friendly, fun banter is acceptable, but avoid being trivial or silly. We've all been part of the group text that we can't escape from. Committee members should check listserv emails at some point in between meetings. Realize that everyone on the committee will read your email. The listserv is not ideal for one-on-one communication. Never share conversations without previous consent. Avoid email muscles or arguments that are really easier to have over email than in person. You will see each other again. Finally, ILCA thanks all of our volunteers for your commitment and expertise. We could not function without the contributions of hundreds of its member volunteers. So in short, thank you, thank you, thank you.